Well, I appreciate you sharing about
Yeah.
your AA experience. I don't think people do that enough.
They don't.
I myself am I've been to AA. I went to AA for years. I got 12 years
That's
sobriety
good.
myself.
That's good.
Worked the program.
And it's day by day, add that up. 24 hours a day. Think about it. Some people's like, we only got 12 years. I meet people, only got 3 years. I can't get your time. Think about it. It's 24 hours. That's one day. No, 24 hours. That's 2 days. So if you add up like 12 years, that's 12 years. Add that up. I mean, if you break it down, that's 24 hours a day because you got to keep sober from 24 hours to 24 hours. That's one day, 12 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
And then for me, it's 26. That's a lot of time.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a
to
lot of
this
time
day,
and
I'm
a lot of
like,
experience.
that's a lot. And not just that, it's experience. Because all this experience I can write down, like I met people from, like I said, street urchins all the way up to hitmen, all the way up to bikers. I mean, all kinds of people, drug addicts. I'm not saying they're my friends. I'm just saying I met them all in AA, and I got a little bit of information on each one of them and say, okay, not to do that, not to do that. This guy went to prison. This guy was armed robbery, whatever. Learn all that in AA because it involved their alcoholism. You know, their alcohol took them to those places they didn't think they'll end up. Rock stars. I met a lot of rock stars. I meet them. Next thing you know, they're in the newspaper, passed away. But I met them in AA, or some of them try to get sober. Some famous ones. I don't need to name them, but some famous ones, you know.
I remember, probably like a lot of people, like I would want to skip a meeting. I was trying to do 90 and 90.
90.
And I would
And then after 90 years, like, I'm all right. You're not all right.
I would want to skip it, in my head. I'd be like, I don't need to go to this one. And then I'd have to shift that because I got something out of every meeting. I got something out of every interaction, So like that kept me coming back, And then every meeting that I didn't want to go to and I went to, I always left like super happy that I went.
Amen.
Like I would have missed that if I didn't show up.
And see, listen to this. I talked to this guy. He had like 35 years. I only had like about 8 years. I'm like, this guy's 35. I'm like, and I was only at the time about 32. He had 35 years. He's probably like 60 some at the time. I had like 8 years. And he told me this. He's like, you ever heard anybody tell you this? And I'm like, no, sir. And he says, let me tell you this. He says, he goes, I go to a meeting once a day, every day. And he goes, the reason why is because I don't know what meeting I need. I don't know what meeting I don't need. But he says, the meeting I don't go to, that's the meeting that could save me.
That's the one you need.
That's the one you need. And if you go to AA enough, you hear people that. You hear them say that. They'll say, hey, I go to one a day. Or like me, I used to go 3 a day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening. Or, okay, 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, I'd break them up. Okay, 1 in the afternoon, I'm working in the day. I'll go 1 in the evening, work the 1 a day, go to 1 in the evening. But if I miss that one meeting, that's that one meeting I could say, there's something in that message that lady or that gentleman's sharing that touches me. If you listen in there, you'll hear your story. And I mean, I heard stories. I heard ladies speak a lot of information that I can understand. I'm like, I don't know that lady, never met her, but she grew up in the country. She had parents. Her mother passed away in early age cancer. My mother passed away early age cancer. She had brothers and sisters. I had brothers and sisters. And I could right there, I'd say, okay, I can relate. Because as soon as I relate, then my heart opens up, my mind opens up. But as soon as I say, I can't relate, he's not acting right, he's talking something garbage, I close my heart off, I close my mind. Right there, I don't want to listen. Then what happens is I don't listen. My ears go closed, what you call it, closed hearing, Mm-hmm. And that's why in AA it says, you got 2 ears to listen. You only speak when you need to. And then like me, I only speak when I need to, because I was taught growing up, speak if you got something important to say. If somebody's talking, you don't interrupt them. If a lady's talking to another man, somebody's talking to another room, you don't just walk in there and start talking. You show respect at an early age. I learned all that in early age, and I learned that in AA is when somebody's talking or sponsor and somebody's talking, you don't go up in the middle and say, excuse me, you want to be, they're busy. And that right there, that one of these pieces can go off and they can actually lose it and say, that person made me angry, and that day he go out and drink and lose his sobriety, all because somebody interrupted him while he was sharing his testimony. And I've seen it happen before. Like if you're talking to somebody something serious and it's coming out of your heart, and all of a sudden somebody comes out of nowhere and gets you angry, and you're like, oh, I don't know what to do. I'm going, and your mind goes back to, I gotta have that drink. I'm nervous. I'm ready to, I'm losing it. I gotta have that drink. That's what your mind's illusion. You gotta smash that illusion. Your mind says, I need that drink. No, you might need a drink of water. You might need to go outside and do some exercise, jump up and down or whatever, push-ups like I had to do, or write something down, and all of a sudden your mind will get off of it, and then your mind will get distracted. Because as soon as your mind gets distracted, first thing goes back to what? Old habits. You got to break old habits. That's why it says people, places, and things. You got to change them all.
Yeah.
And I only changed one or two things. I didn't keep sober. I had to change people, places, and things. And not all one day. I changed people one day, maybe 2-3 weeks, a month later. Okay, places. Quit going to them places. Okay, things. Means I quit buying things. If I see a commercial on TV, turn the channel. If I go to the beach and people partying, I just don't go to that area. That's in the early sobriety. Now I can go to concerts. I can go to weddings. I can go to birthday parties. People drinking over here. I'm over here and say, oh, have a nice day. I just don't get involved because I have sobriety now, And I know if I take that drink, they're not going to pay for it. It's going to be me. And I can't afford it anymore. I can't afford it. And it's not money or going to jail or homelessness because I can, try to go through that again. I lose all that experience and all those people I'm letting down in AA to show them I got 26 years. I'm going to go out and be stupid one time and drink. I'm letting all those people down. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
And in the early time, I'm like, they don't really care. No, they do care.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we have celebrations once a year. People come there, have cakes and birthday, and they have celebration stuff because they care. If somebody's only sober 1 month or 1 year, or they go through 1 year and they're sober and make it back, that's a celebration. That's why they have a birthday every year for AA.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's wonderful. And I never met an organization ever like that, ever. That's like AA. And AA, it's all free, if you think about it. People go to college, people go to jobs, people get married and all that. But you go to AA, it's all free information if you use it. And remember, you might not need everything in the big book. You might not need everything in 12:12. You just take what you need and leave it for the next person. Next person might need it. Pass it on. When I'm done with a book, I take it back and take it back to AA and say, okay, I'm done with that book. Hand it back. If it's Living Sober, there's several AA books, not just the big book. I go by a big book. It just, as soon as I'm done with it, I go to one of these sponsees and say, hey, do you need this book? If not, I'm going to pass it on to somebody else. I don't need it anymore, And I don't draw it, I don't line it because the next person, he needs to look at it. He might need to draw it. I don't do any of that, If I need to write it down on my own paper. Like there's people that highlight it. I don't do any of that. Because remember, it's not my book. It's just my book for me to get what I need and then pass it on.
That's right.
There's one time I had 4 or 5 big books, and I talked to people, say I don't have none. I'm like, why do I need 3? I don't need 3. So what I do is take one and give it one away. I can always get another. I know where they're at. They're free.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. It makes you feel good because I can relate to people in that. Not just that, but then I realize, okay, I go to my job, I talk to people the same way. Respect. If you're talking, I'm talking, one of us got to talk at one time. If you're asking a question, if I don't know it, sorry, I don't know. Or I'll answer the best I can. And I learned so much in AA. I learned so much in church. I learned so much just by talking to another person. When you're communicating, you have to really be aware of what is this person really trying to say to me. Is he really needs help? Or is this person just trying to, is he just trying to get his weight back? Or is he just trying to look good for his family? No. Or if he's trying to be sober, I'll go any lengths to help somebody out. Any lengths to help somebody out if they're willing to do the work. Remember, I can't do the work for you. I can't do the work for this gym. I have to do the work for myself.
Yeah.
And I know that because there's so many times I'm like, I like to get that lady sober. I like to get that young guy, man. He's a good-looking guy. He's 22 years old. He reminds me, I can't get him sober. This guy over here could be a good football player. In my mind, he could be a state cop. He could be, he's under influence. I can't get him sober. But if I can't help him, I'd show him the information, give him the paperwork, and say, go this over here and talk to Jim, or go over here and talk to Billy or Gary. And they'll give it information. Their son was a cop that got killed or whatever. He goes over and says, do you really want to be a cop? You're sober, but there's more opportunities than being a cop or undercover or police officer. There's, like me, there's environmental work. There's all kinds of work you can do. When you're sober, the list is unlimited. Like right now, there's so many companies that want to hire me, but the key thing is what do I like to do that's best for me? Because I don't need to do all work, because I did all kinds of work from 17 and now, all kinds of work. But the work that makes me feel good is about giving back.
Yeah.
And like I said, if it's farm work, I don't do farm work. If it's environmental work, if it's a musician, if it's doing ministry work, I have to give back. That's where I'm at now, give back.
That's good.
And if I give back, the spirit will give me more. Just like clothes, when I'm done with clothes, before I wear them out, I pass them on to somebody else, I'll get better stuff. I'll get a better apartment. I'll get a better bike because I'm only supposed to use the stuff. I'm not supposed to keep it because I used to cling on to things and material things. I realize that's not life. I need very little in this life. If you think about it, myself, I learned I need very little. Older I got, I thought I need more. It's less because the older I get, the less I need for myself. See, I had to learn that. That wasn't easy to learn. And I learned that with the animals. When you raise animals, you feed them and you take good care of them to a certain age. Then after a while, they just maintain. Well, okay, they'll be maintained with just this much water. They'll maintain with just this much hair, this much grain, or you take care of them just this much, and they'll be fine after that. But in the beginning, you got to give them a lot of care, and I learned that through people. And some people, you can't help, and to this day, I let people know I can't help you. If I can't help you, I'll give you the source I will, because there is help out here if you look and if you willing to change. You have to be willing to. You had to be willing to change. I had to say, okay, I have a problem. Now I'm willing to change.
That's it.
And nobody out here can say, can you change? My sister, all these people get a haircut. My hair was down to here and all this stuff. Get better clothes. I didn't change. I had to change in here. And then after that, now it's okay. I look better with short hair. Okay, I look better not being out of character. I look better not hanging around those kind of people. And after I changed in here, I start realizing those people are not for me. My long hair wasn't for me. When I was drinking, that wasn't for me. When I was disrespecting people and out of character, when I was uninfluenced, that's not me. And I had to realize that myself.
It's good.
And a lot of people, they don't realize that. Everybody around them knows they're alcoholic. Everybody around them knows they're a bad character, but inside they're still saying, I think I can still drink some more. Well, like they say in the big book, if you think you can drink like a gentleman, hats off to you. For me, I can't. And I lost the privilege of drinking because I went from drinking all the way to drinking and driving. And I
think you gained the privilege of not drinking.
Privilege of not drinking. Isn't it?
Yeah.
That is.
All right, Bradley.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot, buddy.
That was awesome.